After a 13-year lap around the world and over 280,000 liters of fresh water produced, it was finally time to retire our old water maker and replace it with a new system that I'm super stoked about. So we thought it would be cool to make a video about the whole process and share some general information about water makers, show you our new SunPure water maker system, walk you through the installation, and share our honest review of its performance. So let's jump right in. A water maker, or desalinator as it's also called, is a system that's able to produce fresh water from salt water. There's lots of different configurations, technology, and levels of automation on the market, but the heart of every system is a simple process called reverse osmosis. First, let's look at plain old osmosis. It's a naturally occurring process in which a liquid spontaneously passes through a membrane. The membrane allows some molecules, like water, to pass through, but other molecules, like the majority of salts, are unable to pass through. The flow of liquid through such a membrane occurs naturally to try and even out the salt concentrations between the two. In reverse osmosis, we're applying pressure to the saltwater side to force it through the membrane in the reverse direction, letting the pure water pass through and trapping the salt and other impurities on the other side. And voila, just like that, we've created fresh, drinkable, salt-free water. Now, let's take a look at the nuts and bolts of how our system works. We went with the 18 to 25 gallon per hour model by SunPure with a 1 horsepower 50 Hz motor that operates on 220 volts and the optional second membrane, which almost doubles the freshwater output and provides redundancy for the same energy input. All said and done, the system should produce about 40 gallons or 160 liters per hour of fresh drinking water. So here's all the components, and basically what happens is salt water comes in right here, out this valve to this boost pump, out the boost pump into the 20 micron filter, and then the 5 micron filter, and then that goes directly to the input of the high pressure pump. So this is a pretty big 220 volt 50 cycle high pressure pump. The piston pump puts high pressure water out here through these high pressure fittings, which are stainless reinforced cables, and then it goes into the membranes. These are the standard like FilmTec 2540 membranes, and with this capacity we should get in the neighborhood of 40 gallons per hour, so about 160 liters per hour, maybe a little bit more. So we've got high pressure water to the membranes, and what actually happens is the water gets forced under extremely high pressure from the outside of these membranes to the inside, and that process, known as reverse osmosis, strips the salt away. So what you end up getting is salt water in, you get wastewater out, which comes out the back of that and just gets ejected overboard, and then the fresh water comes from the center here, and the same place on the other one goes through this flow meter right here, and then two valves so that we can test it. So I have like a little 3-way valve so that we can monitor the quality. So one way we'll eject it overboard, and then the other way we'll put it to a tap where we can test the parts per million, and then the third way, when we like it, goes into the water tank. So it's a much more manual system than the old one we had, and the main reason we're replacing that is because that thing is so old we can no longer get spare parts. So like all the valves, all the electronics, and all of that stuff is sort of going bad, and I've been kind of nursing it along for, I'd say, the last 2 or 3 years, and it's progressively getting worse and worse. In fact, when I tried to get a spare pump, a boost pump for the beginning of the system, they wanted like 2,000 euros. And I was like, that's crazy, man. You can't try and charge 2,000 euros for a pump just because you can.
I just think for living on a boat, I just love fresh water so much. Like, it's kind of the difference between like living comfortably and really roughing it, in my opinion. Because like when you have fresh water, you can become clean, you can do the dishes, you can like, after you come out of the salt water and you have the salt on you, like you can do a quick rinse and
We can take showers.
Exactly. In that way, like, we can also keep the inside very clean and nice. Like, I don't know if everybody realizes, if you get salt water like on your clothes or on the cushions, like, they will never dry because of the salt crystals gets like stuck in the fabric. And if you don't wash it out with fresh water, like, you will feel damp, and it actually like hurts your skin.
It holds in a lot of moisture.
And also with Sierra, like, it doesn't matter if she gets, you know, grimy and like stuff all over her, like, I don't have to worry about it because I can just wash her clothes and it's fine.
So how much water a day do we use? Do you remember?
I think we use, when we were in full like cruise mode, maybe like, what was it?
I think with 6 people on board, we were using about 120 liters per day.
With 6 people on board.
With 6 people. And with just me and you on board, I think we use about 60 liters a day, which is not a lot of water. And it doesn't scale that much with people. So for example, like washing the dishes, right? It doesn't use 3 times as much water to wash the dishes for 6 people as it does for 2 or 3 people, because you fill the sink up X amount and then you just do that. So it's like drinking and showers are the main consumers, and the washing machine too, because you have to run the washing machine for clothes more.
But I say we conserve water pretty well,
I think
and like,
we do pretty good. I mean, I know people who would use like 60 liters in a week because they just drink.
Yeah, only do it for drinking water.
We're not those people. No. We're a little bit more luxurious on balance. All right, so should we put it in?
Yeah.
Should we begin?
Let's begin.
How long do you think it's gonna take?
2 days? 3 days?
2 days? If you say 2 days, then that means it'll probably take 8 days.
Oh no.
You're supposed to say like 3 hours, and then it'll end up taking like 3 days.
Oh shit.
That's just the way it works with projects. Okay, let's do this.
Woo!
Because it's a modular system, the first step is finding a home for all the components and securing them into place. It's more of a puzzle to install compared to a self-contained unit that's more or less plug and play, but if you're like us or most cruisers, there simply isn't space on the boat for such a large piece of equipment. So the modular system is much more practical. It also gives you flexibility to install items that need regular servicing in easy-to-reach locations. For the most part, our installation will mirror our last setup in terms of placement, but some adjustments were needed to make everything fit, and there would definitely be some serious boat yoga involved.
We spent a little bit of yesterday making this bracket, fabricating that up. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Me and Kaz did this yesterday. And Jeff. Jeff helped too. Right at the end.
Not very much, though.
But I did this so that we could just literally fit it to the existing bolt pattern in the engine room, so I don't have to like mess around with any of that. I just put it together, bolt it up there, and then it's all good. So
This is a big moment.
Okay. All right, I can hold this up here.
oh man,
What's wrong?
this thing is in the way because they're in a slightly different configuration here. Okay, so what needs to happen here? I think this part needs to be moved because of the high pressure hose, which was on the other end. Yeah, let's pull it out.
Okay, let me drop this camera just for a second. Take 2.
Oh, it's so close. Pull it back out.
Okay.
Try number 3.
We're gonna go try number 4.
Oh no.
I mean, we're twisted this way. Back here.
Because it's hitting that. Because the membranes are further apart now.
Yeah.
It's always something. The next thing you know, you got out your jigsaw, your drill, you got to put more holes in the boat. Nothing fits exactly.
You do have a plan, though.
Oh yeah. Just keep on cutting until it fits. The mounts are not as long and they're a little bit wider, which is why I have to do this. It's minor surgery. Make sure there's nothing on the backside, like wires or something. Yoga. Okay, there's our new holes. I hope that gives us enough room. And it was really hard to align them because I couldn't get straight in front of it, so I don't know if the width is right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. I got it on there. What do you think?
Good. It looks
Does it look
really
good? Looks pretty good, huh?
It looks like it's always been there. 7 times a charm.
7 times a charm. It's heavy. Okay, so this is the beast of a motor. It has this pressure release, so if you're ever adjusting the panel, you accidentally put the pressure too high, this thing will blow, so you don't destroy the pump, which is good to know.
So do you think this is gonna be like a pop in?
Like I just put it in
And it
lines
just
up?
lines up?
Most definitely, it's gonna line right up. No problem. No drilling or cursing necessary.
Motor going
Yeah, we're
in.
gonna put this beast in. Just been working on this template over here for the last hour. And so far, he's almost got it. Not quite there yet, but we're getting close.
It's ridiculous. It was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
It's because it's for a boat, Jeff. Come on down, I'll show you where it's gonna go. That's gonna go right down here. This is where the old one was, like in this area. Jeff's making that template. If he ever finishes that up, then I'll be able to drill my holes down here.
Stop giving Jeff shit.
This is where the old filters were mounted, right here on this piece of wood, like that. Part of the reason why I didn't like this location is because every time I took this filter off to change it, it inevitably leaks water, and then it would always leak right on that pump right there, and then the pump would get rusty and nasty. And so I'm thinking about moving it over here, where there's no pump, because I like to just stand here and work. So I'm trying to figure out a place where I can put the pump to clear up this area, because it makes accessing the stuff over here like a lot easier. So I used to have to stand over here like perched up on this thing, right?
Yeah, it makes so much more sense.
But if I can at least get down here, it's a lot more comfortable. It's the small things in life.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Because this pump has to take water from the saltwater manifolds. The saltwater distribution, it takes water from this point right here, and then it pushes it through those two filters and then to that pump, right? So I gotta make sure I put that in a place where it's easy to route the hoses as well. But if I know I wanna put the filters here, I should move this block over here and then go from there.
I got the filters and the boost pump set up in a spot that I was happy with. But when the time came to install the high pressure pump, we had to go back to the drawing board and try a different approach.
How many days in are we?
No idea. What day is it?
I don't know.
2 weeks, maybe?
No, not 2 weeks, like 3 days. in.
What? 3 days?
For this water maker.
Oh, for the water maker. Yeah. This is day 3. And today was spent fashioning this mount because it's incredibly hard to mount anything directly into the pump, because when you get it in there the shape of the motor, you can't really get it stuff. And so we made this mount. Spent today making these standoffs for the front part of the pump. There's like a wooden sort of platform in there. I set this down, drill 2 holes here, and then I can get on either side of the motor, and that holds the thing from like doing this, right? Okay. Wish me luck, I'm going down.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay, bye.
See you in an hour.
Okay, an hour or 2.
Maybe 10 minutes
10 minutes, he's hopeful.
at best.
He's hopeful.
The mount actually worked great, and I was able to run all the wiring and make all the connections for the entire system. Now the only thing left to do was install the panel, which, surprise, surprise, was not as easy as I expected.
I've discovered that this hole needs to be a 1-inch hole because this valve that I have is 1 inch. So my plan is to clamp it down, drill a pilot hole in this block that's 1 inch, and then use this piece of wood to guide it so that it doesn't walk all over the place, right? Oh, great, now I gotta get that core of wood out of there. What do you think about that? See how this goes, huh?
Gotcha. Here comes the reveal.
Sick. Pretty nice, huh?
Looking shiny.
That looks good right about there, huh?
The installation was finished, but as you can see, we filmed this when Delos was still out of the water. So once we splashed, we were able to fire everything up and see if the job was really complete.
Okay, the morning has come. We're in the water. I can now test the water maker, so I've got the generator running. So she's cranking away. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the boost pump, and I'm just gonna go check for leaks. Okay, boost pump coming on. It's a 24 volt pump. Okay, pressure's going up. Let's go check for leaks. That looks good there. Right there. Maybe I didn't put enough Teflon tape, but that's a pretty minor leak there. And now I'm gonna check the area in the control panel just to make sure. Then we'll fire up the high pressure pump. All right. Well, so far so good. No leaks on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip on the big high pressure pump, move some real water under the pressure and see what it does now. Desalinator. Make sure this is all the way opened up. There we go. Because I put in this 1 minute delay timer. So after 60 seconds, this guy should trip. And the only reason I'm doing that is to give the boost pump time to get air out of the system and start pushing water through and give us a chance to check that low pressure side. So let's go down here when this bad boy turns on. Oh, there it goes. See any leaks there? No leaks there. Let's go ahead and turn the pressure up on it. So I'm gonna just start cranking up the pressure here. Start to get pressure, pressure, pressure. Oops, there it goes. Okay, starting to get flow. I'm gonna make sure that there's no leaks out here. We're just gonna let it run for a sec. Let's just go check, huh? Okay, so far so good. So yeah, I just got that one leak to track down, and then I think we're in business. Really happy. All right, it's been about a month since we've installed the water maker, and let me crank it up for you and show you how it's going. So that's the low pressure pump on. We'll turn on the high pressure boost pump. There it goes. And we're gonna crank the pressure up to 800 PSI. It's actually running off the inverter right now, which is pretty cool.
That's crazy.
All right, so now that we're up to pressure, we should start to see our product water start to come out. The quality of the water, the parts per million, and the actual amount that we get as a product, it will vary depending on the temperature of the ocean and the salinity of the ocean. So the colder the temperature of the water and the higher the salt content, the lower our output will be. And so as we move into the South Pacific and into warmer waters and the water temperature gets above 80 degrees, we should see even more output. But right now, we're getting above 40 gallons per hour, which is about 160 liters per hour, which is pretty good. Now remember, we ordered the 25 gallon per hour system, but because we have two membranes in there, we're almost doubling our capacity for the same amount of power. So the system's kind of stabilized. Come look at this. This is the TDS monitor. Right now we're getting 174 or 175 parts per million. So that means that for every million molecules of water, there's only 175 out of that million that are salts. The cool thing about that is anything under 500 is considered good water, so we're doing really good there. The natural ocean is 35,000 parts per million, so it's stripping out a lot of salt. So now that the quality is good, I'm gonna change it from dump to put it into the tank. And now we're putting 40 gallons per hour of fresh drinking water right into the tank. I measured the power that it takes to produce this much water. It's taken about 1.6 kilowatts of electrical AC power. The old system used about 2.5 kilowatts, so this one is about 900 watts less, which is actually pretty cool. So yeah, we're pretty happy with the system. I really like the fact that it's off-the-shelf components and modular, which means that I could place things where I needed to in the engine room, and if something were to break, it means that it's a lot easier to like isolate and troubleshoot and buy a spare part for. So if you're interested, take a look at sunpurewatermakers.com. Arnie and the guys over there are super helpful, super knowledgeable, and they will be able to hook you up with a very cool system. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.
Up next on Delos, we finally meet up with Senior Brady and Blue on their beautiful boat Lentica. And along with Sharky the Wonder Dog, we get a chance to buddy boat for a few days and show them some of our favorite spots in the Sea of Cortez.
How did the install of the motor go?
Hi. Oh god. Thumbnails. Is that good? How do we look, Jeff? Do we look interesting?
Ridiculous. Like I want to click on it and I'm watching it.
Should we put it in?
That's what she said.
How long do you think it's gonna take?
That's what she said.
Ain't nobody gonna stop us. People, everybody, would you listen to us for a start? No boy.